Hey guys, welcome back to the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis. We have an ultra cool RTF bundle here today to review for beginners in FPV. This is a beginner series ready to fly bundle. RTF means ready to fly, and this quad can get an upwards of 8 minutes flight time on a cruise out into the field. You can do some distance flying with this quad. It also comes with GPS on board. It's hiding just underneath this battery strap right here. The wires go down the side and into the flight controller. This allows you to be able to fly it basically out of the receiver range and have the GPS take over and bring the quad back safely. That is very similar to other quads out there like the DJI quads in Best Buy or other department stores where you can buy something with GPS ready to fly out of the box. This is more of an FPV style quad. It's not a DJI FPV drone. This one is a slimmed down drone with all of the wires not exposed by this external casing, and it even has casing over top of the wires going to the motors, which is really, really cool. All the way across here, no exposed wires on the outside of the quad anywhere, which I think is really fantastic for beginners. So durability wise, it's going to be really tough, and it's really light, so that actually helps with the crash durability. I used a Firefly X Lite on board, and this is a 4K camera that's decased, similar to the decased GoPro cameras you've seen. It can be powered by an included cable that plugs right into the battery lead balance port right here. So that's cool. This camera can be powered from 2 to 6S, which is kind of crazy. It's awesome. It has a lot of versatility, so you can basically fly this on just about any type of race quad out there. And speaking of great footage, this one is really gaining a following. I flew this one on my Race 20 that we're giving away on the channel. You can go back and watch this review coming up in the end of October. We're giving this away on the channel, so make your comment on this video and any other video on the Drone Camps channel and subscribe, and you'll be entered to win this guy at the end of October. So we'll be looking for your comments. Send us an email on dronecamps.com on our contacts page, and that'll get you completely entered in to win the Race 20 from Flywheel. It's around $300 to $400 quad, so that's a really nice gift to my subscribers. But I think this bundle is probably more fun to me as an experienced pilot than like the Seagull series RTF bundle that we reviewed previously on the channel from Eachine and AtomRc. That bundle was kind of like what I called the poor man's ProTech 35. The ProTech 35 was one of the most popular hybrid FPV race / Cinewhoop drones out there. It had really thin ducts and really kind of hardcore ABS sort of prop guards around the whole thing. Now I like this one better because it is lighter under the 250 gram mark, and it doesn't have prop guards, and it also has GPS on board. So this is really right down my alley right here. So we have the safety of GPS return to home on here, which as a beginner really helps you out if you're cruising along in acro. And people have asked me this recently: what happens if I lose communication to my radio? If you lose communication to your radio and you have GPS on board, if you're cruising along in acro, the quad levels out immediately when it loses signal, and GPS takes over and it starts to go up and turn around and come back to home, which is a really excellent thing for beginners or people that want to do long range flying. If you want to fly down a canyon or a river, it's the ultimate terrible situation is that you fail safe. The standard onboard beta flight controller will tell you that it's going to drop, and it will drop right in the river. Now, I've heard stories of that happening to people, so this is nice that GPS is on board. So GPS takes over as you're flying down the river, and bam, levels out automatically. And what's interesting about this is that I've been flying down a river before, and I'm flying along in acro, and then it does this. It twitches momentarily and does this, but it goes right back into acro when it regains signal. So really, really fast and awesome type of coverage for your quad. It's kind of like an insurance policy for your quad if you're doing any kind of like long range flying. So hopefully this kind of explains it in a beginner's type of terms for you so that you understand that yes, it will work in acro mode auto level, turn around and come back. So that's a great safeguard to have out of the box with something like the AUK Rtf bundle. Let this one sit there for about a minute flight time and record the home point before you take off. And it comes without it having the box checked for arm without loading satellites. There is actually a box in Betaflight that you can check, turn on or off. If you turn that box on, it will be able to be armed without setting the home point, which is not such a great idea. So you want this to sit there and load the home point first. That way it knows where to come back to, and it doesn't fly back to mainland China. Very, very important. So today we're flying with the Eachine T8. This is a Radio Master controller that comes along with it. It is mode 2 with throttle on the left, and we have a pair of Skyzone Cobra L goggles with DVR on board, unlike the Beta FPV quad that we recently reviewed without DVR on there. The Cetus Pro and the Cetus Ready to Fly bundle, it just doesn't come with a recording option for your video. So most guys out there want to record their FPV videos and edit them and share them. So we're running the Foxeer Razor camera on this quad today, and it looks fantastic. So without further ado, let's go out and fly the AUK, and let me show you how much fun it can be with the onboard footage and the Firefly camera. And oh yeah, a VTX up to 500 milliwatt. I mean, let's go, you guys. Let's go out and fly, and we'll come back in and I'll show you how cool this quad is. The design on this quad is so cool. On the bench in just a minute. Here we go. All right, boys, here we are back in the studio after the flight test. That was fun, wasn't it? That is an ultra smooth camera. 150 bucks, Firefly X Lite, 4K at 60 frames per second. That's definitely the best D-case type of camera deal out there right now. Cheaper than the Cadex Peanut, the Go 2. It also has SD card support, which I think is cool because with my memory on board type of cameras like the Peanut and the Go 2, the fact is that when I fill up that camera and I don't want to delete the videos that I've taken for the day, once you have that camera filled up, you're done. No more filming. If you have an extra SD card, you can pop a new SD card in there and keep flying and recording for the day. So I think that's awesome. It also has external power support on this camera. So it has a USB plug on the side right here, USB-C. The cable goes out and it has a converter, a downstep converter that converts the voltage from a 4S battery up to 6S from the balance lead on here. Plug that right in on the side right there, and you can move this camera from multiple quads, down from a 2S quad all the way up to a 6S quad. So I think that's freaking cool that I don't have to worry about the camera battery being charged, because my Go 2 is constantly dying. I have to charge it before I fly it every single time. So that's where these cameras are awesome. And the fact that I don't have to wire this one up to the flight controller and specifically have it for the different quad that I'm flying every single time to the flight controller, that's really awesome. So for plug and play type of thing, the Firefly X is really awesome. And I think it's getting a good following so far from the community. I think my subscribers really like the video. So go back and watch the center race video with the Firefly X footage from this quad, and you're gonna see some ultra smooth, like high up, precise tree canopy flying. And the video looks great. Plus, it's not $550. I don't have to worry about crashing this thing through the trees and breaking it. I've had reports of people breaking the GEP-RC GoPro Hero 8s, smashing them all to bits, and there goes 500 bucks. So this has a much more peace of mind here. So as this baby sits on the scale, guys, we're looking at the AUK without the battery on there at 204 grams. It's kind of amazing to me that they were able to get a 4-inch quad with completely encased wire system on here, and the flight controller, VTX, everything's covered up, tons of venting down the side on the ABS plates. It's amazing. 204 grams. This does not look like a 200 gram quad to me. It looks like much heavier. So that surprised me. With the 4S850 from Eachine that's included, this one's an 8-minute flight time cruising battery. It's going to get it up past 250 grams. So honestly, if you want to get this one under 250 grams, you're going to have to put something like a 4S 550 on board. But that's 295 grams with the 850. And with the Firefly X, that's going to get you above 300 grams. So an extra 30 some grams, going to get you up to 329 right there for the total takeoff weight. But let's talk about this AUK quad. Now, first of all, it has GPS on here. So if you're going to do any range flying, that's going to get you out there without having to worry about fail-safe. in beta flight, if you're brand new to this hobby, beta flight is set up to drop when it loses signal back to your radio. So if you're flying out there down a river or a canyon or something, you're gonna be hiking in and grabbing this quad from the riverbed or from a pile of rocks. So it's important that, number one, this quad is durable, but secondly, that if you're flying range, that you have GPS on board. And this baby has GPS. So underneath this battery strap right here is a TPU encased GPS. And the wire is kind of neatly tucked inside this battery strap right here. And it's movable. So if you didn't want it here, you could take it off here and put it somewhere else. I wouldn't recommend putting it near the VTX. That's why they have it up here and away from the VTX. This will cause a little bit of interference here, so you don't want that. But this is such a cool design, really. Carbon top plate, unibody on the bottom. This is 3mm carbon unibody. We have recessed hardware all the way front to back here. 4 bolts holding on each 2004 series motor, and 5 amp draw on this power system from my 4S battery. That's kind of amazing. So that allows you to run a long range Li-ion battery on here. I'm going to put a link down below to the GEP-RC 3000 milliamp battery, or getting an upwards of like 25-minute flight time. So you can fly a Li-ion if you want to freestyle this baby. You can fly a LiPo if you want to freestyle this baby. You want to fly a Li-ion for long range cruising. You should be able to get 20 minutes plus on a Li-ion. So that is super, super cool. The other thing is that it has a really legit flight controller in here. It has the same flight controller that the ProTech, the ProTech, poor man's ProTech 35 had. It's the AtomRc F405 flight controller. And that's the F405 Mini 20x20 stack, and it has 30 amp 4-in-1 BL Heli S mini ESCs on board. Those are 2 separate stack, ESC and flight controller together. So that's kind of nice. It's not an AIO. If one goes bad, you have to replace the flight controller and the ESCs. You just have to replace the individual board, which is cool. You have access to Betaflight on this side right here. It has a small little window right here, and that allows you to get your USB cable in there. They also include a USB cable to hook up to that to change your parameters in Betaflight. But what a low profile quad. It's really super cool. Years ago, I had a red quad on the channel that I reviewed, and I believe it was called the Unicorn. And it had encased sidewalls like this, but tons of venting all the way down here, and a space for you know, if you want to run some type of action camera on the front. It has a spot where you can get zip ties under it and just zip tie something up super quick, or you can use this mount right here. This is a little, it looks like a M3 screw, and you can put a GoPro sized mount on here. So this quad is big enough to carry a full-size GoPro, decased GoPro, or any of the Insta360 camera Go2 on here, or the Peanut. So no problem there. In the back, we have diversity antenna coming out next to your right-hand circular polarized antenna. If you're going to fly this long range, I suggest updating this one to a longer antenna, something like around this type of length. They do make much taller antennas, and I wish this one was a little bit extended. But it kind of keeps the profile, again, nice and low for that design aesthetic, which is kind of cool. But what I'm most happy about with this quad versus the Seagull is that there are no prop guards on this one. It will freestyle, and it will fly some distance, and it'll get you a longer flight time because they use 20 series motors. I actually really like these motors. They're the 2-bolt top plate configuration for these 4023 Gem fan props. They have a medium core to a nice tapered tip down here, and that allows a nice quiet sounding quad, so it keeps the Karens over at the soccer game instead of surrounding you with their minivans. You're not going to get attacked by Karens, most likely, for flying this one. This one's going to be quieter than that standard 5-inch Screamer, and you can fly this one with other goggles. Later on, if you want to upgrade to some Skyzone goggles, you can fly it with Skyzone goggles. These are my Skyzone 030s. It comes with the Cobra Ls, which are great, again, because you can fly and record your videos with an SD card. It also has the steady view receiver in there, and this receiver is actually a diversity receiver, and you can remove this receiver out of these goggles. A lot of the box goggles out there just don't have a way to remove the receiver because they're always built in. And I think the biggest fail of the Cetus series is the fact that you can't record the videos. With these goggles, you can. There's a button on the side right here and an SD card slot on the bottom and 18650 Lion that's included with that set of goggles. And the biggest thing about these goggles as well, guys, is the fact that it has these slots on the side right here. These slots are for your glasses. So if you wear glasses, you can wear these with your glasses. This series of goggles is probably one of the only goggles on the planet that has glasses slots on the side. I don't know why these other companies haven't done this 5 years ago, because a lot of guys have glasses and need to be able to wear their glasses to be able to see when they fly. So that is super important. And it also comes with a Radio Master Series T8 Lite controller. This one has simulator support. It has this trainer port up top, or the simulator port right here, trainer port, and the recording or the charging port right here, USB-C charge port. It has an internal 1S 1000 milliamp battery inside. If you long press and hold, it'll show you an LED readout here. Up to 5 LEDs gives you a full charge, and it should light up green when you're connected to the quad. If it's red, that means you need to rebind it. And this is a radio that you can bind up with other quads. This will bind up for D8 for your tiny whoops and full-size D16 receivers. So that's cool for 5-inch and 4-inch quads. It has the versatility to be able to basically be flown with any type of FPV quad out there. It has two position switches in the back right here and 3 position switches in the front for plenty of flight modes, turtle mode, and whatever support you want to put on here. You can also add the GPS return to home inside Betaflight on a switch, which is also cool. But GPS return to home works several different ways on the Betaflight series GPS setup. It does low voltage return to home. It will do on a switch return to home and signal loss return to home. So quite a lot of safety here with the AUK bundle versus the original Seagull bundle that was released. So I think this one is one of those ones that could be super popular and sell really well because, number one, it has a fantastic design, Skyzone goggles, a transmitter that you can use with other quads, also simulator support, and a battery to start with, and you have GPS on board for some range flying and Lion capability. So I'm going to put a battery down below that'll be your long range battery. It should get you an upwards of 20 to 25 minute flight time with the AUK quad, and a link down to my favorite freestyle battery, which will be a 4S 850. And also, not forgetting to add a Firefly X Lite to your equation, I think is super important, because 4K at 60 frames per second, around 150 bucks, that is what everybody should want right now. I'm still kind of happy about this camera because of the versatility of it. So I'm going to keep flying this camera until I destroy it. Everything kind of has an expiration date in our hobby, unfortunately, but I'm really happy with this one so far. It is serving me well and not giving me any problems. So thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for the AUK bundle and the Firefly X again on the channel. You can check out the links down below, guys. Anything that you get on the channel here supports me and keeps the channel going. And as always, I'm going to keep giving back to you guys on the channel. Subscribers will get a chance to win this one. This one is the Flywoo Center Race 20. So get your comments in and subscribe. And good luck on this one for the month of October. And honestly, if you're a beginner, this would be a great second quad. 2 thumbs up to Eachine and AtomRc for some really fun flying quad. I hope you enjoyed the flight test and my comments and overview of the AUK Rtf bundle. Guys, take care. Keep it in the blue. Happy FPV, everybody. and I'll see you on the next one.